Welcome, dear friends. How are you all? Today we have brought an American action horror movie which has been released this year. And the name of the movie is Arcadian. Share the video and definitely watch till the end. The movie starts in the future when some mysterious creatures appear from nowhere and start trying to wipe out all traces of humans from the earth. That is, an apocalypse kill on the earth has happened due to the infection of some insect or due to some intoxicating plant, or God has destroyed the human being. 8's asset is punished for his sins, but no one 038 knows the real truth clearly. In such a situation, a man named Paul is shown who is searching for some necessary things in his town. Suddenly sirens start ringing and screams are heard everywhere. Bombings are also heard. He immediately runs outside and hides everywhere, somehow manages to stay away from the roads. 056. There is panic everywhere in the city. Smoke has spread. Paul reaches an old house away from the city where, yes, but he has kept his two small children safe. After 15 years, both of Paul's children have grown up. One's name is Thomas, the other's name is Joseph. During the day, he goes from place to place and collects the things he needs. 113. Now, as soon as evening, when it gets dark, they come home and close all the windows and doors. Pal also calls his pet dog Rocco inside. In fact, no one goes out here after dark, and today Paul's son Thomas was very late in arriving. When this happens, Paul scolds him, but Thomas tells him that he was just helping the neighbors. 129. In fact, friends, there lives a family of a woman named Rose in their neighborhood who also has a farm. Thomas interferes in their work. Now at the time of dinner, Paul again scolds Thomas that next time you come late, it will not be good. I will throw you out of the door forever. Now Joseph confronts his brother Thomas on this matter. So there is an argument between them. 145. After some time, this argument comes to an end. Paul then separates both of them and says that you are humans. Behave like humans. Then both the brothers start playing chess. Then Rocco starts barking strangely and tells them to stop. Realizing that something wrong is about to happen, Paul and Thomas go downstairs and find that someone is banging on the door. 202. Actually, they are some mysterious creatures trying to come inside. Both of them together hold the door, but those creatures do not stop banging, but after some time they give up and go away. Now Thomas gets angry at Joseph that why didn't you come to help us? Joseph says, hey, I was trying to understand those creatures. Actually, first they opened the door for 10 seconds. 223. Next time he beat for 20 seconds, but last time he beat for only 1 second. He tells that by banging the door for the first time he tests whether it can be broken or not, and next time he actually tries to break, and when he cannot break it, when they find it, they get disappointed and try for the last second, and then go away in irritation. 240. Now the next day they see that there are claw marks of creatures on the door, and the door is completely damaged. To cover the broken places, they find some wood and bring it back. Thomas starts cutting wood, and then Paul sees that Joseph is trying to build something else, but Joseph does not tell Paul anything. But when Paul insists on it, he tells Joseph that he is trying to build a car because he does not want to live in fear at one place. 3 o'clock. Seeing his son's efforts, Paul gets impressed and makes some changes in the car, due to which the car starts running. Now Paul teaches his two sons to drive a car. All three of them wander around, and when they come home, Paul says that the windows have also become weak, and they will also have to be repaired. 316. For this, some things are going to be needed, which are in that old ship standing near the river. But Thomas doesn't want to go there anymore because he wants to go to Rose's farm and work. Paul says, look, Thomas, the wood is more important, and I can't send Joseph alone to help him. You will also have to go with me. 332. On the way, Thomas argues a lot with Joseph. Then Joseph says that I do not need your protection. You go from here. And what else did Thomas need? He gets down near the farm and Joseph is alone. Goes near the river. Here Paul is sitting near the waterfall after fixing the door and smoking. Then he sees a black pit among the stones. On the other hand, Joseph goes near the river and ties himself to the car and goes to the boat of an old ship. 353. He goes inside where he might get some important things, and inside a locker he finds an obscene poster, seeing which Joseph gets shocked. Suddenly thousands of insects come out of the garbage bin. Somehow he escapes from them and comes out. There, Thomas, and Charlotte have a strong crush on each other. Both of them go out for a walk on the farm. 411. Charlotte tells that in childhood, her parents, they used to forbid me to go too far, but now I want to play freely. Friends, she has come up with a trick. She ties herself to a tree so that she can run some distance and also knows that she is out of her limits. She is not going. 430. Then when the time comes for Thomas to leave, Charlotte gets sad and hugs his chest. Now the evening begins to set, so Thomas runs towards the house. There they show Joseph's car does not start. She gets scared again and again. He tries again and again, and finally it starts. Thomas also accidentally falls into a pit while running. Meanwhile, Joseph comes to the farm to pick up Thomas, but after not finding him there, he himself comes home hero. 451 tells Paul that Thomas didn't want to come with him and goes down to the farm. Now Paul locks him in the house and goes to find Thomas with Rocco. Thomas falls into a pit. Thomas lights his lighter and sees a mysterious creature in one of the holes. The one who is extending his hand towards him makes a strange sound, which Paul hears. 5:09. Thomas also takes out his knife and thrusts it into the creature's hand, due to which the creature puts his hand inside. But in the meanwhile, another creature appears from above, and Thomas. He grabs the creature's head, and Thomas is unable to breathe. But at the last moment, Paul arrives and kills the creature. Then Paul and Rocco find a tunnel so that it can reach inside the pit, but at this time if it can escape from here. Even if they come out, it is not safe to run through the forest and reach home. 5:31. They decide to stay here till morning and block the entrance of the pit. At the same time, they also hear the sounds of creatures coming out of the hole and coming towards the pit. Now these people burn their flats and then the ground starts shaking because these creatures live underground. 5:46. They are trying to trap them inside by blocking the exit of the pit with soil. Meanwhile, stop barking. It doesn't close and now a hole is forming in the ground through which the creatures are going to come. Paul tells Thomas and Rocco to go back and throws one of his flares in that hole, but those creatures try to catch Paul. 6:01, but Paul causes an explosion in which he himself gets seriously injured. Here at home, Joseph hears the voices of the creatures, and he makes a plan. After some time, he is sleeping, sitting on a chair, and there is a rope on the chair. When Joseph is tied, this creature removes the wood of the door and puts his hand inside and checks with his long nails whether he is actually sleeping or not. And when Joseph does not move at all, the creature comes inside and then reveals himself. Joseph was not sleeping, but 6:27, he had laid a trap for the creature. As he pulled the key, a cage fell on the floor, inside which the creature was trapped. Now Charles becomes very happy that he did such a wise thing that he placed the cage in a trap. Covering himself with a cloth, he sleeps comfortably, but if Paul and Thomas do not arrive till the next morning, he gets worried and he immediately takes the car. 6:44 goes out in search of them. Here Thomas manages to get out by removing the mud and also brings out his injured father Paul. Meanwhile, hearing the sound of the car, Rocco goes to Joseph and takes him to Paul and Thomas. Then they bring Paul home. When Thomas removes the cloth from the cage, the creature starts screaming. 7:01 Jazz then puts his cloth on and tells Thomas that these creatures do not like light. The heroes bandage Paul's ointment as it is said that last night this creature had entered the house in 8 seconds until now he has the record because he could never come inside so quickly. Not only this, there was another creature too which, due to coming inside, went away from here. 7:18. There's a change in the behavior of the creatures, which is not a good thing. Thomas tells that perhaps these creatures have become intelligent because last night we killed some creatures in a pit, and perhaps this creature might have come to take revenge. On this, Joseph says, "Look, I don't think that you and Papa together would have killed those creatures. Papa would have done the real work. You would have just stood there like this." 7:37. I know that Thomas also gets irritated and goes to kill the creature in the cage. Joseph stops him because he wants to study the creature, and during their fight, the cage gets opened and the creature comes out and hides under the bed. Then when Rocco barks at him, he starts attacking him, but Joseph holds him tightly. 7:54. And Thomas cuts the creature, but Joseph wants to know more about it. He takes its body to his shed and starts cutting it there. But he doesn't understand anything. Thomas wants to take Paul to Charlotte's house because he has medicine. At first, Joseph does not agree because he does not think that he will help them. But Thomas insists that he will help. Then he agrees, and together they take Paul to Rose's farm. But as Joseph, it was said that Charlotte's mother, Rose says that we have very little medicines and Paul is so injured that we 823 will not be able to get him treated here. Charlotte tries to convince her parents by all means that please agree, but he still doesn't agree. Yes, but he definitely says that we can definitely keep Thomas with us, but he tells Joseph that you should take your father home. Whatever is there now belongs only to both of you. Hearing this, Joseph, he gets irritated and goes away. 8:43. When Thomas goes after him, Joseph blames him that because of you, Papa is going to die and you have become so selfish that you want to live with people and not with us. On this, Thomas gets angry at Joseph, starts strangulating him, and when he realizes what madness he is doing, he immediately removes his hand. 9 o'clock. Now Joseph takes his unconscious father and leaves in his car. Thomas starts living comfortably here with the Rose family. He gets very good food here, so Charlotte shows him her things which Thomas had never seen. Then there is a romance between them, but in between, Charlotte's father goes there. Joseph sees that there are heaps of mud lying everywhere. 9:15. This means that the creatures are digging the soil and painting it in the underground. Seeing the soil near the house, Joseph gets scared that there must be creatures under the house. Then he makes Paul lie down at a place and goes into his room. He makes a great plan, and from there he collects things and starts blocking the windows and doors. 9:32. At one point, he steps on the carpet and falls inside, meaning the creatures have already entered the house. There, Charlotte sees Thomas searching for something in the kitchen. Still worried about his father and Joseph, he requests Charlotte that I need medicine for my father. Please give it to Thomas. Thomas hugs him and promises that he will definitely return. But in the meantime, Charlotte Thomas's father arrives and Thomas starts running away. But the people working outside in the farm point guns at him. 9:55. That you have stolen in the house. Thomas explains to him that no, you have not stolen. Charlotte herself has given me this medicine, but he does not believe it and calls all his men, and together they tie Thomas at one place. And they start playing loud music so that no one knows what they are doing to Thomas. 10:11. They hold Thomas's legs tightly, and one of the men is about to shoot him, but in the meantime a crater is formed in the ground. And Thomas is inside it. This is how he was saved from the bullet. Some men go inside the pit searching for him, and then a creature comes out of the pit. 10:28. Now hearing the sound, Charlotte's father goes with a candle to check when suddenly the creature enters the room and attacks her. The candle falls down, causing the room to catch fire. Now the creature leaves Charlotte's father and attacks Charlotte's mother. But the father catches the creature and pulls her away. And Charlotte's mother. She runs to find Charlotte, but the creature attacks her and vomits a poisonous substance on her.